Welcome back, students. In this video, we are going to discuss the next idea, information processing, operation, and in office automation. In the last chapter, we discussed about information processing. In this chapter, as the continuation, we are going to discuss about the different types of operation and what are all the modes we are going to perform the information processing. See, when we are talking about the information processing, we said we need a computer system. What is the purpose of the computer system? The computer system processes the data with respect to the set of instructions provided. Whatever the instruction we are giving the computer, based on the instruction, it will be processing the data. The set of instruction to do your specific task is called program. The set of instruction to do a specific task is called a program. We are having different types of program, but you know that very well. The programmings are written in high level languages. This is what you studied when you are studying IT systems. When you are studying other programming languages, your instructor, they might have told you that the programs are written in high level languages. Here I am going to give you some sample of 4th generation language and 5th generation language. Just an example. For the 4th generation languages, query languages are the example. We can take SQL. Report generator languages are the Oracle. General softwares are the programming languages are the Visual Fox Pro and so on. And we are having data manipulation software, SPSS or R softwares are the mathematical optimization software, which is called MATLAB. And we are having web development languages like PHP. These are all 4th generation languages. In 5th generation language, just I am giving you some example, OPS5 and Mercury, where we are using the artificial intelligence, Here we are going to discuss about the information processing operations. Now we are going to discuss about the information processing operations. Here we are going to define the set of basic operations. We are going to define the set of basic operations. The basic operation requires, the information processing requires the following operations. The first and foremost thing is called recording. Recording, it doesn't mean that we are going to record in a video or audio. Any form of collecting the data, for processing or capturing the data for processing is called recording. Even writing the record, or when you are writing your application form, admission form, there you are recording your personal detail, isn't it? Then the second idea is called duplicating. That means we are going to create more number of records for the transaction. Now the third important operation is verification or verifying. We have to check the accuracy of the data. Maybe when you are filling the application form, your registration department, you can find that they are checking each and everything, whether you have given the correct data or not, because this is the responsibility of the registration department for the verification. After the verification, then the data are classified. How we are going to classify? We are going to identify the data according to one characteristic. I can give you again an example. When you are filling your data, when you are filling the application form, you are filling your personal data separately about your name, family name, and your email ID, your mobile number, and all. And then next you are recording about your qualification. Then you are writing about the hobbies. Then you are having the page 2 or the another application form separately, where you are writing about your special requirements, or where you are, what are all the additional qualification you have. You are writing them in another document. Now what we are going to do, we are going to capture the data according to the characteristics. So these are all the personal data. These are all the hobby data. These are all additional data. So they are going to capture them according to the characteristic. Then they will sort, physically arrange data in specific classification. Even though the registration department enters all the data into the program, your special needs requirement should go to the student affairs department. So what the registration department will do, they will make a copy of your application or your copy of your form, and then they will put one form in your file, and the duplicate form they will be sending it to the student affairs department, and then they will be sorting them separately. Physically, they will arrange the data in the specific classification. Then the next idea is called the merging. When we are having two or more documents, we are having two or three sets of data, we are going to merge them and we are going to make them into a single report. Maybe we are going to make them into a single report. Then we will be going for the calculation. Calculation is nothing but mathematical or logical computation. That's all. Calculation is nothing but either the mathematical computation or the logical computation. Now we have got the data. Now the data needs to be stored and retrieved. So storing and retrieving process result in a usable form. Now we are having the hard copies which we are going to keep it in the cupboard, and the data are entered into the data into the system, the student's information system, and which we can retrieve them whenever we want. Finally, summarizing. Summarizing is nothing but reducing large quantities of data into usable and simple form. When we are having very big number of data, we are going to reduce the quantities and we are going to convert them into a usable form. Then report writing. Facts obtained as the result of processing is analyzed and communicated in some type of report. So now we have collected all the data. Now we have recorded, we have summarized. Now we are going to make the report. We are going to make the printout, or we are going to distribute them based on the requirement. So these are all the basic operation for the information processing: recording, duplicating, verifying, classifying, sorting, merging, calculating, storing, summarizing, and report writing. These are all the basic operations. Teacher, you said that we are writing all the information in the application form. Why should we use the computers? The advantage of using computer, you know that this is the speed. Powerful computers operate in nanoseconds and picoseconds, isn't it? And you know how we are calculating the second. Millisecond is nothing but 10 to the power of minus 3 seconds. Microsecond is nothing but 1 millionth of second. And nanosecond is nothing but 1 billionth of second. Picosecond is nothing but 1 trillionth of second. So we can make, or we can do the work very fast. The computer can do the work very fast. Then the next one is accuracy. Computer system does exactly what the instructions direct it to do. So whatever the instruction we are giving to the computer, it will perform the operations based on the instruction. So once, if you make one time, if you give the correct instruction, the result will be always accurate. And consistency. The consistency is nothing but generate accurate result over and over again whenever we want. Because see, this happens sometimes. You know that when we are using some calculator, one time we will get one answer, another time we will get another answer. How? Because maybe by mistake we typed 18 instead of 18, we would have typed 81. So, but in this computer system, the consistency, the generate accurate result over and over again. Whenever I am asking for the new report, it will generate the accurate result over and over. And reliability, there is minimal downtime and tasks are executed continuously. We are having 1,000 students. I can make the report for the 1,000 students within a short span of time. But if I want to create the data in the hands or manually, you know that for 1,000 students, how much time it will take. So this is minimal downtime and tasks are executed continuously. It will be keep working always. Human, we cannot work more than 8 hours continuously. Even in 8 hours, we are taking the break. We are asking, oh, I need to go for the tea, I need to go for a break, I need to go for a washroom, or we are going out. We are making the break. But the computer execute continuously. The computer execute continuously. Next, we are going to discuss about information processing operation modes. How we can work on this information processing. Here, we are having different methods or modes. The first one is called multi-programming. Multi-programming means multi-programming allows executing two or more programs at the same time. We are having different programs. We are going to perform the same different program simultaneously. I can give you an example for this. In students information system, we are having some personal data information system is separate, and the financial system is separate, isn't it? Now, when according to the student, you know only one thing, I am entering the data in the student's information system. But what is happening? Multi-programming is happening behind the screen. So the multi-programming allows executing two or more programs at the same time. So when we are going for the multi-programming, what is the benefit? Decreases the amount of time in a computer is idle, because otherwise when I am doing one by one, maybe the computer may be idle for some time, isn't it? So when we are doing the multi-programming, decreases the amount of time the computer is idle. More than one processing job is being executed at the same time. We are going to do more number of processing at the same time. The operating system software directs the CPU to switch back and forth between multi-programming. So the central processing unit will be directed by the operating system to switch between the tasks, and there can be one user with several programs. There can be one user with several programs. So this is the basic idea of multi-programming. So multi-programming allows executing two or more programs simultaneously. This is the basic principle. This is the basic principle. The next one is multitasking. The next one is multitasking. What is the meaning of multitasking? Doing many tasks simultaneously. Maybe when you are visiting some of the persons, they will be talking to you and they will be writing something on the board. Or they will be typing something and they will be talking to you. And maybe some other person, X or Y, may be sitting with them. They will be talking to you and they will be informing something to the other person and they will be typing. This is called multitasking, doing many work simultaneously. But how it is done in the operating system? The multitasking is a multi-programming on a single user operating system. Multitasking is a multi-programming on a single user, only one person, or single user operating system, Windows 2000 or X. These are all the samples. I am giving an example. So in multitasking, only one CPU is involved, but it switches from one program to another program quickly. That gives the appearance of executing all the programs at the same time. This just is switching between the programs. The CPU, only one CPU, it will be switching between the programs fast, very fast, quickly, so that it looks as if there is only one program or only one task. All the tasks are performed simultaneously. This is called multitasking, doing many tasks by a single computer or single CPU is called. The next idea is called multi-processing. The next idea is called multi-processing. See, the multi-processing allows the execution of two or more application software programs simultaneously in a single processor. Multi-processing allows the execution of two or more application software programs simultaneously in a single processor. This is what we are using in our college, isn't it? Because we are using, you know that very well, our students information system is connected with the many application softwares. Even you are using your virtual learning environment through our student information system. This requires the computer to have two or more processing units. Because when you want to make multi-processing, we need multi-processing units. We need two or more processing units. The instruction being executed could be from one user or from multiple users. Maybe a single user may guide the instruction or may be executed, that particular instructions may be executed or given by the multiple users. Multi-processing operation system enabled several programs to run concurrently. Simultaneously, we can run the programs, multiple programs. For example, Unix is one of the most widely used multiple processing system, but still there are many other. Unix, I'm giving you an example because when you are studying the basic computing, you might have studied about different operating systems. So I'm giving you an example of Unix. This is also called parallel processing. Whether we are using the term multiprocessing or we are using parallel processing, both are the same idea. So in multiprocessing, we are going to execute two or more application programs simultaneously in single processor. The next idea here, we are going to complete the idea which is called information architecture. Information architecture. Because whenever we are talking about the business processes, the information architecture is the most important area. How the data or how the information are structured. Information architecture explain how an organization achieve its business process and goals. How we are going to achieve the process, the goals. For example, if you take our college, we are having vision, mission statement. We are having our goals. We are having our strategic objectives. How we are going to achieve them? Using information. Using the information. In preparing the information architecture, the business analyst meets with the users to understand the information needs. This is the business analyst job, who will meet with the users, different users, and to understand the information need, what is required. What is required. Business users at all levels should understand their current and future information requirement. For the information architecture purpose, what is the current requirement? What is my requirement after 2 years, or maybe in future, what will be my requirement? The users should be aware of this. The user should be aware of this. All the requirements of the users need to be addressed while designing computer-based information system. So based after collecting all the information from the different user, the analyst is going to develop the program, computer information system. How he is going to make the computer information system based on the different requirements, Now, a computer-based information system can make business process more effective and efficient. You know that very well, how we were before and how we are now. In the olden period, when we are using the administration processes through the paper manual processes, how it works. Now we are using the information system, how it is. You know that very well. To meet business and technical challenges, an organization requires information architecture that is built on IT infrastructure. Because whenever there is a challenge, maybe the business challenges, maybe the technical challenges, so the information technology infrastructure is the most basic requirement. What are all the information technology infrastructure? Teacher, you used a simple term or new term, information IT infrastructure. What is that? The IT infrastructure is nothing but the computer hardware, software, storage, data management, and networks. All these things comes under the information technology infrastructure. So all these things are required for the information processing. So we discussed about two major areas. One is called information processing operation. So we are having basic operation, and we discuss about the basic operation, and then we discussed about the operation modes. What are the types of operation modes we are having? We are having multi-programming, multitasking, multi-processing, and then we discussed about the requirement, what is the need of information architecture, and then what is the meaning of information technology infrastructure. Like last slide, last presentation, I have given some sample questions just for your references. Just for your references. Thank you.